I don't like LeBron James. Let me say for the record, I have the ultimate respect for LeBron James. To me, he's in my top 5. Do I think he's better than Michael? No. I don't give a fuck if he scores 80,000 points.
Knock it off. God damn, boy, you bronzexuals be killing me.
Bronzexuals.
Silence falls while your timeline erupts since watching a comic dive into the greatest of all-time debate and openly challenge an active icon demands immediate global focus. This chaos ignited when Aries joined Byron Scott for a podcast session, launching a verbal assault on LeBron James while insisting Michael Jordan stays the unrivaled king. That footage surfaced during late February and surged in popularity throughout early March 2026. It triggered a wave of response clips, viral jokes, and an online frenzy that refuses to die down. Picture the intense atmosphere. Aries entered the studio armed with his signature vocal mimicry and blunt honesty. Casual banter rapidly shifted into a harsh, calculated breakdown of professional legacies. He revived ancient sports grievances. He claimed that James' influence fades if you ignore his long career and PR spin to focus purely on primal winning drive. Mixing funny voices with biting satire, he transitioned from lighthearted comedy to making heavy, controversial assertions. Jordan's ruthless mindset, perfect championship record, and global shadow simply cannot be weighed against LeBron's entire professional history, he argued. This potent mix of humor and provocation turned the interview into viral gold, touching on icons like Muhammad Ali and Jordan, who are viewed as ultimate trailblazers. Despite his massive fame, does LeBron truly command the same worldwide recognition that Jordan achieved decades ago? Absolutely not. Has he revolutionized basketball like Jordan? Hardly. Now, consider the angle that remains largely ignored by the mainstream. These views aren't fresh for Aries. He has spent years acting as a vocal advocate for the absolute supremacy of the Jordan era. Through previous public performances, he utilized biting wit to emphasize his stance regarding psychological toughness and overall societal significance. However, this specific interview felt unique, starting with laughter but concluding with a calculated, evidence-based demolition of an athlete's reputation. He cited historic instances. Analyzing pivotal baskets, late-game composure, and modern press perks, he dismantled the most cherished stories surrounding LeBron using digital evidence. This fusion caused the footage to transform from a simple comedy routine into a major headline within minutes. Look, I respect his talent. Many assume I hate him, but I genuinely admire his skills. Nonetheless, he simply doesn't occupy Jordan's tier. Let us examine the evidence. Spears charged LeBron with crafting an artificial story, relying on career length and media manipulation rather than the dominant championship takeovers that defined Jordan's legacy. He highlighted the massive promotional machine supporting LeBron. Constant press coverage and agent influence provide psychological edges that shouldn't be confused with actual on-court mastery, according to the comedian. Conversely, he maintained that Jordan's mythos is built on unchangeable title results and a terrifying presence that fundamentally altered his rival's performance. Regardless of your stance, his perspective wasn't just empty noise or baseless shouting. He poked at the two main arguments in every sports debate: raw numbers versus the magic of iconic, unforgettable highlights. Here lies the danger. Humor can validate harsh opinions. Getting ridiculed by a professional entertainer carries more weight than being criticized in a spreadsheet. Spears employed his renowned mimicry to parody pundits who praised James, before driving home his point with gut-level reasoning. Jordan inspired terror, while LeBron built a corporation. To some, this seemed like a profound insight. To detractors, it appeared as scripted drama, a comic catering to an audience seeking confirmation. Regardless of intent, the video sparked endless response threads, analysts tearing apart his logic, supporters showing proof, and sports channels looping the most controversial moments. Current stars, the younger, more athletic elite, aren't sporting LeBron's footwear. They choose Jordan's instead, time after time. It has been over 20 years since Jordan last played, yet he remains the gold standard against which everyone is measured. Broaden your perspective. This dialogue didn't happen in isolation. It landed while the basketball world was already buzzing with various dramas. Emerging talents like Luka and Jokic are currently forging paths that completely change how we view court leadership and player roles. Intense discussions regarding leadership, physical recovery strategies, and journalistic influence persist, while Jordan's recent appearances have fueled a massive wave of longing for the past. These details are crucial because the comedian wasn't merely insulting an individual athlete. He was testing a theory during an age of curated images and commercial empires. Who truly holds the crown? Fans are ready for battle. Spears possesses the skill to make insults linger. Using comedy and mimicry, he disarmed casual fans who would normally leap to protect James's honor. It is a brilliant PR strategy. Employ laughter to set the terms of the fight, then allow sports experts to handle the grueling work of data verification. This creates a double-layered influence. Initially, you capture the audience with humor, then you subtly shift their entire perspective on reality. That feedback loop moved at light speed. Comedic bits exploded online, followed by legions of pundits dropping deep-dive threads. Listen, everyone talks. But let me throw this question your way. People claim Michael never could have dragged a subpar Cleveland squad to the championship round the way James managed to. Look, I hear you. Sure, it sounds solid initially, but wait, it's actually a total fallacy if you consider the facts. MJ took over a struggling Bulls locker room and stood his ground against a legendary Boston lineup, regardless of the outcome. We are talking 5 Hall of Fame legends on a single championship roster. You seriously believe Jordan wouldn't have crushed a weaker Eastern bracket? Back then, that division was a gauntlet, hence its reputation. During the Kings' reign out east, the competition level actually hit its absolute lowest point. Now, let's dissect the friction because the media ecosystem went into a loud, predictable overdrive. James's loyalists highlighted his massive career span and the incredible depth of his basketball resume. Pure volume stats, staying power, shifting his game across eras, and essentially rewriting how athletes control their own destinies. They argued that Spears was just chasing clout with a theatrical stunt instead of offering a sober comparison. Supporters flooded the web with highlights of the Kings' dominance. Others countered that comparing eras requires nuance. It is not apples to apples. Ultimately, the footage didn't settle the score. It just deepened the divide. New stars often stumble here, letting talking heads define them before they've even found their own footing. Aries' viral moment proves that narrative framing, peppered with humor, can warp public opinion faster than any on-court performance. For the rising talent, there's a vital takeaway here. Dictate your own story through sheer excellence and grit, not by reacting to headlines. If the next wave over-indexes on social image, comics like Spears will feast. Stay focused, and the noise dies down. That truth is forever, and Spears' bit served as a live masterclass in how the game works. When MJ ruled the East, it was a Shark Tank. Pure physical warfare, the Knicks, the Pistons, those gritty Pacers. Get that weak stuff out of here. Seriously, I'm good. Let's talk about legacy, where the rubber meets the road. Spears' defensive mic isn't about box scores, it's about the cultural soul. Jordan didn't just win trophies, he engineered the blueprint for what a global icon looks like. Spears claimed that cultural gravity is the true measure of greatness. He's not alone, but culture shifts and some legends feel untouchable. James carved out his own brand of modern supremacy using a completely different playbook. More vocal on social issues, more tech-savvy, and firmly rooted in giving players the ultimate power. Ignoring the cultural footprint makes any GOAT discussion hollow, and Spears was fully aware of that angle. The catch for his haters? Sharp comedy often kills the room for nuance, and the ripples from this clip were massive. Aries' take triggered a domino effect. Social clips, mainstream headlines, and the inevitable wave of angry podcast rebuttals. That kind of fire is either a career jackpot for a comic or a total shift in sports history. Spears secured the clicks and the engagement he was after. The LeBron versus MJ war gets another fresh audience. Occasionally, these cycles actually flip a few minds. Usually, though, people just dig their heels in. Either way, Spears hit the viral jackpot he was aiming for. He owned the entire news cycle for 48 hours straight. So here is the final unavoidable kicker. Did Aries Spears actually expose a flaw, or did he just slice up an old argument with a comedian's wit? If you think perception and cultural optics trump raw stats, then Spears basically hit a home run. He reminded us these debates are about spirit, not data. But if you value longevity and 20 years of elite film, then Spears' rant is just a spicy riff that doesn't actually change the rankings. Regardless, the clash forces the fans to actually explain their loyalty, which is a win for everyone. If you think Aries drew blood, show us the cultural foundation and those specific moments that prove it. If you think he missed the mark, bring the receipts, the clutch daggers, the rings, and the games James hijacked. No room for neutral takes. This argument is eternal, but these viral sparks make it more personal and combustible. Fire off your hottest takes in the comments, and bring the proof.